I recently brought a brand new Fire Stick, and I went through the process of setting up things. And in the process, I discovered applications that I did not use with my previous Fire Stick. I don't know if these are new features or if I just didn't notice them the first time around. But what I ended up doing was that oh yeah, I'm gonna set up YouTube on my TV. So I go through this quick, easy process, link my account to the Fire Stick, ching, YouTube pops up, I bring up some videos, I watch some Fatal Frame playthroughs, and I have this epiphany that holy fucking shit, YouTube is better on TV than it ever was on PC, because you get this comfy fucking chair, you get better sound quality, you get better visuals, you're using a cheaper setup. Why exactly would I ever watch YouTube on a computer when I could just have it on my PC, just running Let's Plays, watching speed runs, seeing documentaries, watching Kino Casino. This is all stuff I would rather do on my TV. And I suppose this is the reality behind the PC Master Race. The thing that PC gamers don't want to accept, the thing that they don't want to admit, is that everything is a computer now. And that doesn't mean that people are spending $5,000 on gaming rigs so they can play AAA games. No. What that means is that people are buying specialized products that serve different purposes that do different things, but in a much more affordable way. So, for example, I bought an exercise bike. It has an AI system that keeps track of, how the distance I work and, adjust automatically, right? That's a computer. I have my Fire Stick. It connects to the TV. That's a computer. I got my iWatch. Okay, that's a computer. My iPhone. That's a computer. The naive answer would be to say that well, the computers are winning. The computers are. But the correct answer is realizing that because so many everyday appliances have computers in them, the traditional everyday home PC, the one that you did everything on, is completely obsolete. Okay? Everything you can do on a PC, you can do much more cheaply and affordably on other devices. Now, the excuse will be on PC you have more freedom and you can do everything on PC. But the issue is that most people are not going to engage with everything you can possibly do on a PC. At this stage, PC is essentially for enthusiasts, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to get I'm going to continue getting PCs in the future because of video editing and streaming and stuff like that. I need a PC for work, right? But for everyday people, I think it'd be much more practical to just get an iPad, get a keyboard for the iPad, and then just use that for browsing the internet or whatever. That's all anybody uses their PC for. Okay, why would I pay extra money for a PC when I could just use a tablet, when I could just use my phone, when I could just use my watch? Okay. When I could just use my TV to watch YouTube. That's the reality, I think, of what's happening now. Is that more and more, as we become increasingly digitized, as everything becomes a computer, the traditional gaming PC will completely fade into irrelevancy as more and more people gravitate towards far superior consoles. And this is the thing people on PCs don't want to admit, and the thing that nobody wants to admit to you. It is not possible for a PC to cost about the same as a console while providing a better experience. Whenever you see people do this thing where they're oh yeah, my game looks way better on PC than it does on console, let it be known they probably paid 3 to 5 times more than they would have if they had just bought a PS5. Okay? That's just the reality of it. And they try and deny it. They try and do this thing where I bought all my parts off of Newegg at a discounted price, and I already had a PC, so it wasn't that expensive. And they're just kind of skirting around the issue. If you're starting from scratch, you're better off just getting a console. And that's the reality of where we're at right now. That's the problem that people are having, is that games like situations like this, computers are everywhere, but that is making the traditional PC model just obsolete. Again, it's interesting to kind of see the narrative around the gaming PC collapse, because the narrative was that these things were going to take over. Everyone would be supporting PC. Like Nintendo would be putting their games on PC. Like it was the master race. It was the future, and we're seeing more and more now why that was never actually viable. It never was. It never was going to take off. It was never going to become desirable. It's not going to be the primary platform for most people. Most people just buy games on a PC that they already own. Okay, they don't go out and get a high-end gaming rig essentially. And we're seeing that more and more over time. More and more people are starting to accept that these PCs. This mindset, the narrative regarding the PC master race is a complete farce, because emulation is illegal. PC is not getting every game day and day. You're not getting Grand Theft Auto 6. And they are not more cost effective than other methods. It is better to watch YouTube on a TV than it ever would be to watch it on a PC. It's just a better experience. It's way more comfortable. It feels more organic. It feels like you're watching an actual TV show. The reality is that everything that people hold near and dear to their hearts when it comes to the PC master race, it's not relevant anymore. All of this is falling by the wayside, getting replaced by other superior alternatives. And in a lot of ways, I believe the PC master race aren't even aware of the vast majority who their competition is. They are, when it comes to the YouTube watching thing, getting mogged by a Fire Stick, the cheapest fucking thing you could buy. I bought mine for $30. It was on sale, but I bought this thing for $30. I got Prime Video. I got Netflix right now before my subscription ends. I got Crunchyroll on this thing. It's all so much smoother and more intuitive than it would be if I used it on a PC. And that is something that people really need to come to terms with, is that the $30 Fire Stick is outperforming even the highest, most expensive gaming PC. You are getting completely mogged by a $30 purchase.